Indiana has won the Big Ten championship, their first outright championship since 1945, their first share of a championship since 1967, and they did it over the number one ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, who were 12-0 coming into this game. Oh my God. What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer questions in the comments below. Did you have Indiana upsetting Ohio State in the Big Ten championship? They are the number one ranked team right here, right now, going into Selection Sunday. They will be the one seed, and they will have done it going over the only undefeated team left in the entire sport, knocking off the team that has been number one in college football for 12, 13 weeks. A team that has been fundamentally one of the best on both sides of the ball, prides itself on being efficient, prides itself on not giving away possessions and sustaining drives with the single best unit in the entire sport. In that defense, Fernando Mendoza and the Hoosiers had something for it, and they did it the way that they had been playing all year. They trusted their run game, they trusted their offensive line, and they trusted Fernando Mendoza to make plays with Elijah Surratt. Yes, Omar Cooper was on the sideline. We know, we understand. For Ohio State fans, it's very simple. Jay Fielding, you can't miss kicks like that. You can't miss kicks like that and expect to win in a game that frankly resembled 2024 Ohio State, Michigan. For too long, I'm watching and I'm going, okay, first drive, right? They had a crappy first drive against Michigan last week. And then I looked up and I said, oh no, this is the Michigan game a year ago, because they're trying to run the football. They're trying to find ways to kind of condense the box and get one-on-ones on the outside for their guys like Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, who, by the way, showed up in a big way. They did what they needed to do in as far as trying to get this team up and going. But what was more upsetting, if you're an Ohio State fan, is you're watching Julian Sayin get put on his back and hold the football. Two things you had not seen all year. 5 sacks of Julian Sayin they had this year. I want to say that's the total number of sacks that Julian Sayin had seen all year coming into this one. That Ohio State offensive line had been good, but he'd also been better getting the ball out of his hands. Brian Haynes might have won himself the Broyles Award with this performance today, where he had a look that was pre and post snap that confused the hell out of Julian Sayin. I have not seen a quarterback this polished and this good look this confused since Ohio State had Dylan Gabriel looking like he was trying to read Egyptian hieroglyphics underwater upside down. That's how it looked for Julian Sayin in this game. He still goes 21 to 29 for 258 with that interception and that TD, but it was more telling that just could not get anything going on the run game. 26 rushes for 58 total yards. Yes, 17 for 83 for Bo Jackson, but that's about it. I mean, Jeremiah Smith came to play 8 for 144, so we can't say that Brian Hartline wasn't feeding the dude on the outside, and we certainly can't say that Carnell Tate didn't get his 4 for 45, and the best wide receiver in the sport showed up. But what was, again, understated in all of this is just what Indiana was able to do when they had to go do it. Wasn't they ran for a ton of yards, or just the second team all year to rush for more than 100 yards on this defense. They were good on third down, 6 of 13. They picked up first downs when they had to have them, even though they both ended up with 17 apiece. Ohio State just 4 of 11. As I'm watching this game play out, and we get into the third quarter, usually that is the quarter where Ohio State is already separating or begins to separate. And there was just nothing like that happening. And as this game became one in which nobody seemed to be able to score a touchdown in the red zone, I'm watching and I'm asking this question earnestly. When are we going to get to see someone design a play that says Jeremiah Smith versus D'Angelo Pons? And we kind of sort of got it, and Julian Sayin kind of couldn't hit it. But more than anything else, I'm watching both of these teams play the same kind of football, and Indiana do it better. Ohio State wanted to be efficient, and they got stopped. Indiana wanted to be efficient, and they got stopped. And you saw neither team flinch. And I think while we did not expect Ohio State to flinch in this game, knowing that they're defending national champion, we did not see Indiana in such a game. Matter of fact, The last time I saw Indiana tested, it was against what is a bad Penn State team and needed to come up with the goods late with the catch to keep their undefeated dream alive. But now, if you didn't know before, you know now Indiana's not just a threat. They can win the national championship, and they should be the favorite to win the national championship based on what we saw today. It's not just unseating the number one team. It's also winning the Big Ten championship, a thing that Ohio State and its fans very, very much wanted. And when you're talking about Ryan Day, talking about a guy who wins all of the games he's supposed to, save one every year, it seems like. Seems like this year, it was going to be Michigan or Indiana. For whatever reason, in a game like this one, they just come up a little bit short. No matter what the offense is doing or not doing, whether they want to be efficient or whether he's got the best defense in the country like he does now, or they got a so-so defense like they had with Greg Schiano and Kerry Combs. For whatever reason, they come up short. I think that Curt Cignetti outcoached Ryan Day today. I think that if you go watch the film, you'll see the same thing. We saw just 3 punts from Indiana all game in this one. And I kept looking at that stat going, I expected that to be closer to 7 if it was going to go the other way. 3 for Ohio State, it's too many. I expected them to sustain drives. I expected them to do what they have been doing, which is get ahead by 2 scores, throwing the football down the field, and then run the football. And that never came into fruition. That never really happened. What this means for a college football playoff selection show, though, I think it's going to be interesting. I still got Ohio State as the number 2 team in the country. I got Georgia as the number 3 team in the country. Frankly, the wins that Ohio State has had, it had won 16 in a row and 7 against ranked opponents until tonight. And the story for many naysayers for Ohio State is they ain't played nobody. Who has Indiana played? Oh, you mean Ohio State, right? Meanwhile, Georgia, yeah, okay, that loss to Alabama, you want to wash it? Cool, bet. They beat them in the SEC championship game. But is it enough for me to believe that it is a better team than Ohio State? No, it is still very much a game I want to see. What we know is our top 4 are very good. We know that Ohio State, Indiana are very good. We know that Georgia, Texas Tech are very good. And then I think Oregon is good enough. I think Ole Miss is good enough. I think Texas A&M is good enough. Probably on par with Oklahoma's got 2 losses instead of just the 1. And then we'll see some shaking. This is not going to tear up the college football playoff. We already saw that more or less happen. But as we're getting closer to finding out just who's going to do what, and it looks like Duke is going to upset Virginia, at least while we're doing this segment. Duke leads 20-13. We could end up with 2 G6 champions in the college football playoff because they'd be higher ranked than Virginia. Then they'd be higher ranked than Duke. Excuse me, not in Virginia. Virginia, well, if they need to come back and beat Duke by this, I wonder what the selection committee would do with this. I don't see this as a good look for Virginia if they come back and win it. I don't think they're gonna, but it remains to be seen. They got the ball down 7 with 1:27 left to play on their own 12. So maybe they go tie this thing up before we get done with this segment. But the point remains. The top half of the bracket is going to be good. The middle half of the middle part of the bracket, that is 6 to 10 or 6 to 10. I think that's going to be pretty good too. What is Ohio State going to do? They're going to take the bye week. They're going to settle in, and they're going to figure out who it is they get to play as the 2 seed. For Curt Cignetti, though, I don't think the air gets. I don't think it gets any better than this. Than if you can win the national championship, because then if you win the national championship, it's not just that we're talking about Indiana as a really good story or even a really good team for a year. We're talking about their staying power, and we probably should be. But after 2024 coming out of nowhere, and then this 2025, we needed to see it against really good teams, and Ohio State is a really good team. In the big picture, 2 best teams in the country are still in the Big Ten. Indiana looks like winning the national championship. That would mean 3 different Big Ten national champions in 3 years, boxing out the SEC. And if the SEC doesn't get a team into the national championship game, that's not going to go over very well either. I think the balance of power shifted, and Indiana is a tremendously big part of this. Ryan Day, figure it out quickly. Otherwise, it's going to get really, really hard really, really quickly, as I'm sure there are Buckeye fans that are stunned by this. Everybody and their mommy picked Ohio State to win this football game. And now it looks like Fernando Mendoza is going to win the Heisman Trophy. Couldn't be a better dude, right? And I wrote about him earlier this week. There are 3 reasons why he should win the Heisman Trophy. He won this game, felt like he's going to win it. Guess what just happened? Indiana, Big Ten champs. Whew, goodness.